How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal in this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether price is going up or down. We will hop over to the total. I was just checking a few things out. Over on the total, we are continuing forward. This does look positive. We do have a long lower shadow candle that followed our indecision candle. If we can continue with VWAP pushing off this neutral, momentum could continue forward, money flow could gain strength, and we could continue to run up. Over on the 4 hour, we are trying to run forward. We do have a long lower shadow followed by a strong green candle. So watch if this does continue. We want to break that 674. If we hit that and reject, then we will continue lower. Momentum is rounding. RSI is trying to push forward. As stochastic pushes up, VWAP is gaining strength. But we have a weaker wave here. Excuse me real quick. Door was left open, sorry about that. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic is trying to push up. We do have a bullish push. VWAP is trying to gain strength. Money flow is pushing forward, and momentum does want to push up. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is pushing forward. Stochastic is running up. Momentum is trying to gain strength. VWAP is pushing forward. We did break for a lower low, but now we have a higher high. If we can stay with this higher high and get higher lows from here, we could continue forward. Money flow could gain strength, and we could continue to run up. That would help strengthen those higher time frames. That would also give that strength to that long lower shadow candle. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to continue forward. Again, watch if we can come up to that 674 and break. Stochastic does want to round. RSI is starting to round away. Momentum is weakening. VWAP is pushing down, and money flow is pulling back. Watch that VWAP close. We do have stronger highs. We have some weak lows, so watch for a lower low with a lower high. If we get a lower low with a lower high from here, we would see momentum round away and a breakdown. Money flow could start to weaken. However, if we bounce off that neutral and make a higher low, we could continue above this neutral and continue to strengthen those higher time frames. That is what you want to see if we're going to continue forward. I would just exercise caution though, because we are seeing that second gap that we warned about on Bitcoin futures. So that does give us a higher probability to end up pulling back and filling this area. We won't spend much time here because it pretty much just opened. Our VWAP is flat. Momentum is trying to run up, but if that VWAP runs away, we will see it pull back. So watch how the next candle plays out. We do have two gaps to the downside. So if we come down and fill that gap, then we break our point control. We could have a slippery slope down. However, if we continue forward, fill that gap and bounce, we could still push forward, see our 90K. We could do that even if we do see that retracement. Remember, we would want a higher low that would be filling that gap with this higher high. So if we gap down to fill that gap, that would be ideal because that'd leave a double gap to fill up and we could continue forward. So just watch for a higher high with higher lows that could help push you up. Otherwise, we do have these gaps that could push you down, and if we do not bounce off that 57K level, that's where we could lose it. We could continue forward despite these gaps down. We don't have to break down. This could still push us toward 90K. Just remember, it does give us a chance to retrace if we continue to run up very quick. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is gaining strength, momentum is pushing forward, VWAP wants to gain strength, and the money flow is trying to push forward. So if VWAP stays bullish, we can continue up. Over on Bitcoin, since we actually have some trading for today here, we are trying to push forward. We have that same long lower shadow that total has. Our stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, our momentum is gaining strength. That VWAP does want to pull back, and money flow is bullish, so we do look like we are seeing a trend reversal. If that reversal can continue on lower time frames, that would give us the strength to push up and continue above our gaps. Over on the 4 hour, stochastic is running forward, momentum is gaining strength. We do have a green dot as that VWAP does want to break up, and our money flow is gaining strength as well, so we do look decent on that 4 hour. Over on the 2 hour here, if I quit moving everything around, we are trying to push forward, continuing off our lower EMAs. That is positive. Remember, you want to hold those EMAs if you're going to continue up. Our VWAP does have a higher high with these weak lows. If we can continue to favor bullish, momentum will continue up, money flow could gain strength, and we could continue forward. Stochastic is pushing up, and RSI does want to gain strength. That is positive for the lower time frames because that will strengthen those higher time frames. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic does want to round. Momentum is starting to round. RSI is starting to pull back. That VWAP does have consistent highs, but watch as we are pulling back. If we make a consistent low, then reject the neutral, momentum will weaken and money flow would pull back. However, if we stay above the neutral or make a higher low, we could continue our bullish trend and continue forward. So watch how that VWAP plays over the next couple candles. If it remains bullish, those higher time frames will gain strength and we will continue forward. Over on graph for the daily, we are trying to push forward to our 300 EMA, so we will delete this that line. That was our max breakout potential. We could continue forward if the rest of the market continues up, so I would watch. Remember, a rejection of that black EMA does mean we could see further bearish momentum. Our stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, momentum is gaining strength, VWAP is trying to remain bullish, and money flow is trying to push up as well. Over on the 4-hour, we are struggling with the 300 EMA here as well. RSI is pushing forward, stochastic does want to bounce up. VWAP is pushing forward, momentum is gaining strength, and money flow does want to continue bullish, so that is positive. Over on the 2-hour, VWAP is pushing up. We do have strength. Money flow is trying to reject though, so watch that VWAP. If it does pull back, that money flow could end up rejecting away. Momentum is starting to curl, but if that VWAP continues up, momentum will follow, and money flow would become bullish, so that would be positive. Over on the 1-hour, we are favoring more bullish. If this can continue, our 2-hour could gain strength, and that could help strengthen those higher time frames. Our VWAP is staying bullish, but pulling back, so watch. We are retesting EMAs. If we can stay above these EMAs and continue our trend forward, then we could continue to gain strength. Momentum is pushing forward. That VWAP does want to pull back, so that is showing that momentum is rounding. Watch as that momentum rounds. Remember, it does take more of a gradual spin. It'll take a little bit, and then it can start to break you down. So if that VWAP does make a lower low, we could see that momentum round away, and price action would follow. That would be what you want to watch out for here. Over on our over on Ankr for the daily, we did run up to our 3485, so that was one of our more previous historical support resistance areas. Stochastic does want to pull back, momentum does want to round, VWAP is pushing down, and that money flow is staying bearish. So if that VWAP or yellow wave continues to weaken, momentum, the blue wave will continue to round, and money flow will continue to deepen in the red, and we will see people continuing to sell more than they are buying. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a rejection of that 300 EMA, that black line, so that is a critical rejection. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to weaken. We have a long upper shadow candle followed by that long lower shadow. So we had that long lower shadow. You wanted that to be followed by a strong green candle, so we wanted to break that EMA and hold if you're going to see a run up. This long upper shadow candle does suggest we could round away if followed by a strong red candle, kind of like back here. Momentum is dropping. We have bearish divergence signaling momentum could continue to weaken. That VWAP is in the bearish territory with lower lows and lower highs. Momentum is dropping due to that, and money flow will continue to weaken if that VWAP does not reverse and become bullish. Over on the 2-hour, we do have a potential bearish engulfing candle here. Remember, a bearish engulfing candle is when you get a red candle that's as big or bigger than the previous green candle, and it can suggest you may see a sell-off. We did see a little bit of that right back here, so I would exercise caution if that does happen again. RSI does want to pull back, stochastic is trying to limp its way up. VWAP is bullish, momentum does want to gain strength, but if that VWAP rejects, our money flow will break into the bearish territory and we will weaken those higher time frames. Over on the 1-hour, we have a rounding top, so that's counter to a rounding bottom. A rounding bottom, like here, pushes you up. A rounding top will break you lower. We have a manipulation X as well that does want to bring you down. RSI is dropping, stochastic is falling, VWAP is pulling back, momentum does want to reject with the red dot, and money flow is starting to sell off. So overall, I would exercise caution there. Over on the 1-hour, we are continuing off that support level. We did make our retest. We have an indecision candle, so I would watch. If we can get some strength, that could help push us to our 67. And if we can continue past that, we do have our 71,547. Momentum is pretty flat though, as that VWAP is very weak. If that VWAP continues to push down, momentum will weaken, money flow will pull back, and price action would reject. Stochastic is starting to weaken, and RSI is flat. So watch the lower time frames. They need to continue bullish momentum if we're going to see that daily continue to strengthen. Over on the 4-hour, we are continuing above EMAs, but this could be a long upper shadow. Remember, we just covered that in Ankr. That could bring you down, like here. Stochastic is overall weakening. We do have blue above orange though, so that is a bullish cross that wants to help push RSI forward, and as that RSI gains strength, price action follows. VWAP does want to break into bullish territory. Momentum is making a bounce and money flows remaining bullish. So the 4-hour does look positive. If that can continue on lower time frames, we could see that push the daily higher. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic is running up. RSI is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing forward. Money flow is seeing somewhat of a little bit of a pullback. And momentum did want to break bearish. We did try to round away, but that VWAP is remaining bullish. If that VWAP can continue to remain bullish, momentum will break that neutral and money flow could run up, and that would help continue to push those higher time frames up. Over on the 1-hour, stochastic does want to round. RSI is starting to break down. VWAP is pulling back. Momentum starting to round, and money flow is pulling back due to VWAP and momentum weakening. Remember, if that VWAP makes a bounce and gets a higher low, we could continue a bullish trend. Momentum would continue forward. Money flow would continue to gain strength, and that would in turn strengthen those higher time frames to help push us forward. Over on ALGO for the daily, we have a long lower shadow candle, so this is pretty positive if followed by a strong green candle. Stochastic does want to push up. That could help us break that 1618, but remember, if we reject, then we could see further downside. Momentum does want to round with the red dot as VWAP is breaking down, suggesting momentum wants to round away, break down, and push money flow lower. So I would exercise caution and watch where that VWAP lands. Over on that 4-hour, we do have a strong rounding bottom here. We are continuing up. That could help push us forward. VWAP does want to break neutral. Momentum is trying to bounce with VWAP. Money flow does want to remain bullish. So if that VWAP can break bullish and hold, momentum will make a bounce. Money flow would remain bullish and we would continue forward. Over on the 2-hour, VWAP is running up, starting to round. So I would watch. We do want higher highs with higher lows. So if we pull back, hit the neutral and bounce up, that would still be positive. Momentum does want to gain strength due to the VWAP running up, and money flow could flip into the green, and we could see people buying more than they are selling. Over on the 1-hour, we do have a reversal arrow that does suggest we could see a pullback, kind of like back here. Stochastic does want to round. RSI is starting to pull back. VWAP is starting to round away. So watch that VWAP. Again, we want these higher highs with higher lows to continue to push momentum up, giving money flow strength to solidify those higher time frames. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. I appreciate all of you.